Kings and Queens, Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Trust you and yours are well and you're loving yourself and others like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you, my esteemed subscribers. You're loved, celebrated, and of course, appreciated. So, I believe a lot of us are familiar with, the Berlin Conference. I've had intensive discussions about that here for over 2 years now. I've been talking about Berlin Conference. We've had a discussion about the letter that King Leopold wrote to the missionaries in the Congo. We've had a discussion about that. I've had an intensive video about that, I think almost 2 years ago as well. We've had subsequent discussions about that as well. We are all aware. There are some other documents that I've brought to you here as well. We've talked about the Jesuit oath, right? The oath that Jesuits take. When you go through these discussions, you understand that Africa do not have a friend. The melanated don't have a friend. There is always extra effort put in to destroy, totally erase the melanated man from the surface earth. So today I want us to talk about the Kissinger report of 1974. This is a secret report that claimed that Africans' growing population was a threat to the US security. And they had to put in place 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 ways to hold down the population of Africa so that the rising population will not be a threat to the US security. Now, this is where I have a question. How do you think that a rising population of a people that you say are weak, are poor, don't have sense, will be a threat to your own advanced first world? In short, heaven. You say you are in heaven and you are scared of people that are in hell. It might be on the lighter note, but I just want you to understand this. So out of the fear of the population of Africa, out of the fear of a rising Africa, they made a decision. And it is from this decision that we have what we have in the continent today. Example, the military bases present in the continent. This was out of the discussion or the decisions that were made from that very discussion they had about the continent of Africa. So, if there will be a rising population tomorrow and they will need something to hold down that population, they will need a military. Hence, the military presence of America in every country in the continent. Hence, the AFRICOM, the African Military Command. The American African military. Can you imagine the audacity of these people? Then, we now have things like birth control. Now, the woman body is, according to the creator of all life, the source of life had molded the woman's body in a way that she can decide whether she wants a child or not. That's why there are seasons in a woman's life. The season when she's fertile and the season when she's not fertile. So a woman can decide her own procreation. A woman can decide, okay, I want a child. Oh, no, I don't want a child. The power is in the hand of a woman, right? But no, these people had made it in a way that there is something that can give you birth control pills, the injections. There are a lot of them, okay? And these begin to interfere even with the reproductive system of most women who really even want to still put to bed, who really want to have children, not being able because they had ventured into 1 or 2 of this birth control, what have you. And if you remember, there's a recently as well, we have Bill Gates introducing another form of birth control to the Kenyan government. Very, very recent. You can check all these things out, get information for yourself. Very, very recent. So why is Bill Gates interested in the reproduction of African women? Why is he interested? Because these are parts of their plan. Okay? These are parts of their plan. I want us to listen to this young man just, spit out some facts and we take it up, we continue.
Did you know that decades ago, someone in the White House wrote a secret report claiming that Africa's growing population was a threat to the economy and security of the United States? As far back as 1974, the Kissinger report identified population growth in Africa, Asia, and Latin America as a threat to US security, fearing it would increase demand for oil, food, and mineral resources. The proposed solution was to slow down population growth by any means necessary. But how do you shrink future of whole continents, one may ask? Simple. Build systems that appear friendly. Now here are 5 systems they built to secretly meet their goals. The first is family planning programs. This was the most direct. Campaigns, sterilizations, and foreign-funded birth control projects. On the surface, it looked like choice. In reality, it was pressure. The target was not just poverty reduction, it was population reduction. Second was finance traps. Through the World Bank and IMF, we all know, loans were offered with harsh conditions. Countries had to cut schools, healthcare, and jobs. Poverty spread. And when survival is hard, families shrink. Debt became a silent form of population control. The third and very effective are NGOs and foreign aid. NGOs became messengers. Behind the free clinics and supplies was a push: fewer children, more family planning, more birth control, and if a country resisted, aid was reduced. It was a soft but powerful pressure. And the fourth here is military bases and wars. Where persuasion failed, power spoke. US and Western bases spread across Africa. Leaders who resisted faced coups, sanctions, or war. Conflict doesn't just honor life, it also breaks communities, delays growth, and reduces population. Some wars were quietly funded to keep nations weak. And the fifth here is food as a weapon. Most recently, we've seen GMOs, and the food aid looked like charity, but they created dependence, while aid programs came with hidden rules. If you wanted food, you had to accept their terms, including population control programs. You see, every piece fits one big puzzle. Finance keeps countries in debt, food creates dependency, NGOs push agendas, military bases secure resources, and family planning limits growth. Together, they enact the Kissinger report's core idea: slow down the global south, maintain dependence, and prevent it from rising as an equal. Keep trusting the global order even in the face of glaring receipts. I am Izuman. This is Chronicles on Power. And until I come your way again, please stay informed. Dejenu.
Majesty, that was his woman there. Now, when you look into some of the facts that he pointed out, these are facts that we can see is evidence in everything that is happening in the motherland. Now, the question that most of Africans, average African, will ask is, why? No, I'm thinking African, okay? An African who is inquisitive, who really wants to know the secret behind most of the things happening, who have grown beyond just the answers that are out there on the internet or the answers that he or she received from schools, the average schools in the continent. The question that kind of African will ask is, why should a US military base be present in Africa? And there is no African military base present in America. A justifying answer according to mainstream medias, according to white supremacy, will say, okay, American military base is present in countries in Africa because they love Africa so much, they want to help Africa curb the rise of insurgencies. That will be the answer that we'll give. But now, this thinking African will say no. Even with this American military base present in these countries, the insurgencies is still not depreciating. There's still rise of insurgencies everywhere that the American military base has been present. And the Sahel has been a living example to these military bases. They kick out when this military bases was present in the Sahel, they were doing a lot of havoc. The people were not even having upper hand against these people until they kick out American military base. Now they are going head on with this so-called terrorist. And the fact still remains that is this same group of people with the agenda and plan that created these terrorists in the Sahel. They are the ones that trained these terrorists. So so that these terrorists can keep terrorizing these regions, and then their military bases will be there, because if there's no terrorists, there will be no military base, right? So they needed to create a terrorist. They did create a terrorist. And they needed soldiers, right? They sent in their military bases. But these bases were there, gradually getting information that even the country is not given opportunity to have. What are those information? How many mineral resources is in this ground to keep harnessing? And when there is a little thing, these military bases are spies that send messages to and fro to America or whoever sent them to be there. So they needed this military base to be like a force. Another mass military base in your home is to terrorize you, it will scare you, so that you don't have mouth to say anything. Because if you say anything, they can easily invade and destroy you. Because there is a report in 1974 that if they do not scare these Africans, terrorize these Africans, reduce this Africans' population, there will be a time that Africa's population and growth will be a threat to the economic and security of America. Now, I don't know if that video is up, but why do you think that America was giving scholarship to Africans? The lay African will say, oh, America wants to help poor Africans get education, they discover themselves. Now, why do you think that the moment they target a talent, they hunt that talent and give that talent a reason why Africa will not help that talent grow? They try to take out that talent out of Africa. You will say, okay, it's true. Africa does not have the technical know-how. Africa does not have the development to help this person develop his or her skills. So America is helping. This is what the layman would, the answer this the layman will give to you. But all this that they do is for a reason. They are doing it to harness. It's like they are harvesting the best out of Africa into their region. And because it is for a fact that Africa is poor, should Africa be poor? No, Africa should not be poor, because Africa have the resources. They are coming here to carry resources, right? Now, why do you think that the economic liberation of Africa or African countries is a threat to America? Because they have been enjoying what they want to enjoy so well. If they do not try their best to hinder Africa's growth, both in population, in economy, in education and everything, one day Africa will stand up and say, don't come here again. It is because of situations like Ibrahim Traore, situations like Assimi Goita, situations like Abdurrahman Chiani, that there is this report called the Kissinger report. They never want a time where Africa will liberate herself and begin to stand up against them. That is why they had the Kissinger reports. That is why they had the plan to implant all this. That is why they entice I don't know what to call these leaders we have in Africa. They entice them with loan. Come and take loan. You can pay anytime. And the moment our leaders begin to take loan, from the first time they start taking the first loan, they will keep taking loan. They will never be able to pay back. The system is molded in a way that the moment any African countries take loan, they will never be able to pay back until they act drastic. There is a drastical move, like what we had in the Sahel. If not, they will never be able to pay back those loans. So the moment you turn like this, they will say you are owing us. You turn here, they will say this is it. Oh, they will rob you with, conscientize you in a wrong way, so you will not be able to cut out from them. So the more poor Africa is, the more America and Europe develop. If Africa liberates herself economically, Europe will be down. If Africa liberates herself educationally, Europe and America goes down. So there is always effort put in to take us out. Okay? They've gone into the lab, created some things just for Africa. And the thing has not been working even. All the things they have been creating to take us out is not working. Even with the birth control pills that they've been introducing, all these other things, family planning, whatever that they've been introducing, like I said from the beginning, a woman's body is created in a way that she can control birth herself. She does not need anything that Bill Gates invents to control birth. We are not saying that you should be giving birth to children like water. Because the more children you have, children that are not educated into poverty will still be roaming inside the poverty, will still be dying inside the poverty. That is why it is good to be wise when you are having children. Don't say yes, so God say be fruitful and multiply. You start pushing out children everywhere, left, right, center. Your body is created in a way that you can control the children you give birth to. Self control even is something that is a virtue. Self control is a virtue. So we are not saying that you should just go and be giving birth to children because they say Kissinger reports say they are trying to hold Africans from being populated. You have a number of useless people. It does not help the continent in any way. If you have children that are not educated, that does not have anything in their brain, that population is useless. That's why you have a terrorism keep increasing, because those children, you can't train them. They'll run into the bush and start carrying gun. They'll run into the bush. These same white people will be the one to give them gun to come and start facing us tomorrow. I hope that we have a knowledge of this and you understand where I'm going to. We have to be wise as Africans of today, knowing fully well that everything is put in place to destroy us. Since we're living in a world where we have this knowledge, what are we doing to help ourselves liberate ourselves from the situation that we are in? That's why I want to draw your mind to this. Just try your best to find more information about this and share positive information, messages about this. I'm going to see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive, always your majesties. Bye for now.